Hey everyone, welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets and how to increase your market business success. Farmers markets are essential. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer or food maker selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast. This week we're discussing marketing your market, from basics to developing cooperative marketing campaigns. I'm one of your hosts, Bridget Myers, and I'm a longtime Farmers Market Manager, Vendor 101 co-teacher, and Education Coordinator at Farmers Market Pros.
And I'm Kat Fields-White, Director of San Diego Markets, still an active Farmers Market Manager, founder of Farmers Market Pros, and host of Intense, the Farmers Market Conference. Coming right up, we'll be talking about that, and the Farmers Market Pros community.
And I'm Justine Marzoni-Mead, Tent Talk producer and marketing director for Farmers Market Pros. And logistics coordinator for Intense the Farmers Market Conference.
I was going to throw that in.
And many other things.
Your description's going to be getting long again. That's what happens this time of year. Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market Podcast, is supported by Intense, the Farmers Market Conference, bringing market managers, farmers, and food makers together again on March 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2022. It'll be here before you know it, in San Diego, California. There are no better ideas than those that come from the farmers market hive mind. Find more information and register now by clicking the conference button at farmersmarketpros.com.
Yay, I'm so excited.
I can't believe it. We're counting down now, like for reals counting down.
Yeah.
For reals.
Yeah. I'm
It's not that far away. It's going to go so fast.
And it feels like the last one just ended. Like I finally just caught up on sleep.
Right?
Do you catch up on sleep? I feel like Justine just goes, it just merges into the next year.
One big blur.
But this year will be so much more fun to plan because we won't, knock on wood, be in the throes of a pandemic and lockdown and all that stuff. And it will just be so great to see people in person. I hope all my little friends come, and I hope some new people that we've talked to online and via social media and things, I really hope people like come out and see us so we can make those connections and things.
Yeah. And our network has grown. I mean, I think
so
that
much bigger.
The virtual conference was wonderful because we were able to reach these corners of the world that before was just hard. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we've made more friends in the last year, and I'm really hoping that some of those new people come out to San Diego so we can meet IRL.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah. We had such a bigger group this year,
Online.
earlier this year, because we
Yeah.
did the virtual. And we will have some virtual options available.
Yep.
Won't be exactly like it was this time.
Yeah.
Honestly, to be perfectly honest, we don't know what it's going to be like. So we know that we're going to have some...
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be amazing. We know we're going to have some digital content. We know we're going to have... We're pretty sure we're going to have some live streaming. You won't be able to do the whole conference virtually like you did in 2021, but you'll have some of those options if you can't make that trip to San Diego. But we want to see as many people as possible.
We very much hope that many of you come see us.
Yeah.
Because we like that in-person feel. And we're going to be in the same location, which is beautiful and amazing, and we can't wait to...
It's not really that big a sacrifice to come. You're going to be on the water, next to the boats, in beautiful San Diego in March.
It'll be a working vacation. We know that all of you market managers and vendors and farmers that have been toiling away and surviving through COVID, y'all deserve a vacation.
Yep.
So get those requests into your bosses or whoever is going to send you to San Diego to learn how to operate your farmers market business.
Yes, and if you're your own boss, just pencil that in your calendar there.
Yep, that's right. Add it into the budget.
Get someone trained up to kind of fill your shoes for a few days while you come and focus on learning and growing. And I mean, it's just an investment in your education. I really feel like every time we go to conferences or places take classes on things, I really just think of it as an investment and make me a better market manager, make me a better person in my business, a better manager.
Yeah.
So,
and it really just gets you kind of all riled up and excited.
Yeah,
and
fresh ideas.
Fills you with joy and gives you kind of that little just vibe that you need to power through or, rejuvenate you or whatever you're looking for, you'll find it.
I think there's real return on investment for
Absolutely.
education and networking. Yeah. I mean, you come back so energized and with new ideas, and that definitely can translate into a more successful market, more income for you, more income for your vendors.
Yeah, that is our whole kind of value system, I think, with Farmers Market Pros, is that we are here to make your job better and, of course, more enjoyable and find that sense of community. And also, really where your passion meets profit. We really feel strongly that you should be making money and be able to sustain your life and, take care of your family or take care of yourself and but still do what you love and bring farmers markets to your community.
Yeah.
Truly believe it.
It's
so
a good life.
excited.
Our
It's
job
a good
is
life.
weird and also wonderful.
Yes.
We need that matching button to go with our job is weird button. We need one that says our job is wonderful.
That's
Yeah,
right. Hey,
that's
let's
true.
do that.
Okay.
I got to add to my tattoos.
Ooh.
All right. Well, welcome back to our Tent Talk topic today. Today on our show, we are going to talk about all that goes into marketing your farmer's market and your market business. How many times can I say market in a sentence? And, speaking of the conference, we always talk a lot about marketing at the conference. I know I always learn a million things. I feel think of myself as a pretty good marketer, but I always learn a ton at the conference and talking to these people who that's their field of expertise. And marketing your market is just an endless possibility kind of situation.
So it affects everything.
Absolutely. And it just really return on investment. Talk about return on investment. I feel like marketing is just key to that. Yeah. So starting with the basics.
Yeah. So starting with the basics, let's do a quick rundown of ways that you can get the word out about your market. So obviously social media is king and queen.
No matter how you feel about it.
We're going to say email newsletters are king, but social media is an amazing form of marketing that is essentially free other than your time.
Yeah.
And it's just pervasive. There's probably hardly anybody at any age anymore that is not on some social media channels.
I think that what's wonderful about social media is it's a way to get new people that don't know about you. We'll talk about in a second. Email newsletters are wonderful ways to continue to reach those people, reel them in even deeper, make them super devoted. But Instagram or Facebook might be the way that people hear about you for the first time.
Exactly.
Or if somebody heard of you, where they might immediately go to look up and find more information about you.
Yeah.
More and more, if somebody tells me about something, I skip Google and I go straight to Instagram. And I look on Instagram to see if a brand or a company or a person is legit or something that I want to find out more about.
Yeah.
For sure. We used to tell people, if you go way, way back, long before you young'uns were born, but back when to be a legitimate business, you had to be in the yellow pages.
Yeah.
We had changed by the time we got to Vendor 101 and said, to be a legitimate business, you've got to be online. Like you had to have a website or at least a landing page. And now I feel like that's maybe not even necessarily true. You don't need a website. You need to be able to be found on Instagram.
Yeah.
That seems to be today's standard.
Yeah, I will say a website is still important, and like we said, like a landing page or splash page or something. It doesn't have to be really complicated, but I think about, like, my husband is not on social media.
Oh, well, that's true.
I talked to someone the other day who doesn't have any social media presence. He wants nothing to do with it, and he's like, it's really frustrating. I can't find information unless I log on to my wife's Instagram and try to look something up.
Oh, that's a good insight.
It's important, and for accessibility reasons, if somebody is visually impaired or they're using a reader to read the internet. Social media can be difficult, so making sure that you do have a website so people can find you.
Yeah, social media really is just such a broad way to reach a lot of people, but you have to keep in mind those things, who are those other people you want to reach, and are they going to be on social media, and how many more people can you reach if you explore other avenues, like we're going to talk about with email newsletters and things like that. But
well, I'm glad to hear that you youngsters are shooting down my thought that social media is all we need now, and telling me that we do need some of the old ways. We need some of the old ways.
No,
okay,
I think that's really important.
And you just need a website that has links to your social media on it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
No, they should all go tie together.
Yeah, it should definitely tie together. And I think a website is something you can control more than social media because it's not formatted in this just one static way. So, as a avid social media user myself, I do try to look outside of that. Like, I ask other people who aren't on social media. I ask my husband all the time, like, how did you find out about this thing? Where did you see that? So he, asks somebody who is not on social media how they find out about events and how they find out about new businesses, and explore those options for marketing.
That's actually kind of the core tip when it comes to marketing, is to be everywhere.
Yep.
Because there's all kinds of different people, and everybody has their own sources of information.
Exactly. People who don't want to be found, for one reason or the other, they're not on social media. Like, people who don't, not like in a weird, like, I murdered
like
somebody.
Don Draper.
But like, like, if you have a crazy ex-boyfriend or something, there's just all sorts of reasons that people are not.
We've gone down a path here.
I've been watching a lot of crime shows. Okay, I watched the last season of Bosch, and I'm all like, who's that in the bushes?
Maybe you just find social media a big time sink, and so you don't devote. You're not saying Peter doesn't want to be found, are you?
No, but my dad thinks
Peter, if that is his real name.
Who am I married to? Who is he really? If he's not on social media, is he even real?
Invisible man.
Yeah. But, some people think it's like Big Brother. My dad, he's kind of a hippie. He's like, I don't want them accessing all my personal data, which is a thing that social media does. So there's people like that, but you still want them to shop your market. So think of how else they're figuring out. Are we going to cut all that out later?
This is staying in.
Yeah.
But social media, so obviously that's important. Email, newsletters, we'll talk more and more about that. But you want to get people's email addresses so you can contact them.
For sure.
Be direct. Yeah, direct contact with your shoppers is very
the best.
important. It's the best. It's better than social media. It's better than a website.
All those experts will tell you, don't build your house on someone else's land. So, social media controls how much reach and how much connection you can get with other people on social media in very random ways sometimes. Even our social media experts have been telling us that. So having that email newsletter as a backup is good. Local press is still legit.
Yeah.
So articles in newspapers and magazines that reach your local community, TV and radio. We know for sure, even though we've got this giant social media presence at our market, when we have TV to come out to cover us, which they do for all kinds of reasons, but it's a pretty market, and so it makes a nice background for them, and they'll come talk to us about a variety of things. We know that if that happens on a Saturday morning, we see shoppers an hour later who are home watching TV in the morning and apparently haven't decided what to do until the TV tells them. So I think
people do that.
I find that curious.
Flexing?
Just because I don't. But I'm just saying, everybody has their own outlets, and those old school kind of things are still really important.
Yeah, you have to be everywhere, just like we're saying.
That's right, be everywhere.
There's also other free services like Google Business.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Claiming those pages, and we're actually developing a course called Marketing for Farmers Markets.
That's right.
That we're going to dive deep into those, but if you already have those things, make sure those are updated, include basic information about your market, days of the week, the hours that you're open. Those, similar to social media, obviously there's labor involved to keeping those updated, and that is a cost, but they technically are free to claim those things as a business. So make sure that you do that. It's really helpful if somebody types in the name of your farmer's market and it pops up on Yelp and it tells them what days of the week you're open and where they can find you. That is super helpful.
Yeah, at the very least. And you can't control reviews, but you can control the static information. And that's really important to control it and for other people to see that somebody from this business has taken a look at this information, has verified it, is aware of this page. So we get a lot of contact via Yelp and via Google Business, and you just got to play their game with them. But it's a good way to just get that information out there.
Well, and while you're mentioning location and days of the week and times, for goodness sakes, put that everywhere. I'm so surprised sometimes. I just talked to a market manager. They've got a beautiful Instagram account. I mean, they have lovely pictures, cute logo, really long Instagram profile that says nothing about what time and what days they're on. I couldn't believe it. And I put it out to them, and they were shocked. They just had somehow overlooked including that information. So whether you're a farmer or a food maker or a market manager, make sure that every time you put something out in the public, you tell people when and where you are. And I want to throw in that this should include your city and state.
Yes, that's so important because, I do the social media for Farmers Market Pros, and I'm always looking for different markets to talk about or learn about. And sometimes I have to spend like a good 5 or 10 minutes trying to find out what state a market is in. And, you never know who wants to come to your market. And they might be, from out of state, or just put it in there.
Yeah.
I think, it's easy just to assume people know you or it's obvious, but it's not. Include
if you want
it.
more shoppers than just your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Family.
Include it.
And think about if you are running a market where people, in a city where people come to visit. I mean, our market, for example, in Little Italy, there's Little Italies in a lot of different cities. And so you want to make sure when someone is looking on Instagram for you, they're not confused to whether or not this is the right Little Italy market that they're looking at. Obviously, our market looks very different than Little Italy in New York. But,
or in Toronto.
But, there's a lot of different, that Little Italy doesn't tell them anything. So make sure you say, we're located in, close to downtown San Diego, California.
Yeah, that's right.
So just that basic information.
Tell them where you are.
Yeah, and instead of posting, come shop with us, you can say, come shop with us on Saturdays from 8 to 2.
Yeah.
It's really easy just to, even if it feels repetitive to you, because of course when your market operates, astoundingly, we get so many questions. People go to our Instagram page, which has all that information, and people will say, "What day are you open?
Yeah.
What time do you close?" And that's with us putting that information on there. So imagine if we didn't have that information.
You got to make it easy for people.
Yeah.
You don't want them to have to go 10 places.
Searching.
I had somebody tell me, I don't put it there because my website is on my Instagram profile and they can go there. Honey, anytime you make them click, they got the chance of being sucked into that whole rabbit hole and never making it back to you. So don't make them click.
Yeah.
Tell them everything they need.
There is something about, sometimes people are shy. Like, if people have to ask a question, they probably aren't going to, and they're just going to move on to another thing that tells them info. So
exactly.
So specifically about social media, this last year at Intense, Molly Balint, it's Balint?
Balint. Yeah.
Molly Balint.
She's awesome.
She's amazing. She said something that really stuck with me, and she said that your Instagram profile is your business card.
That's absolutely
So it should include what a business card includes. Contact information, bullet point, like really just simple info where people know where to find you and they don't have to look anywhere else but your Instagram profile. So keep putting the hours of your market, the day of the week, and a really helpful tool, too, that is also free, where it gives you on your Instagram profile where you can put your link to your website. There's something called Linktree. Instagram only allows you to put one URL there, but there's a service called Linktree. It's free. You can get like the fancier, higher levels of it that give you analytics and stuff like that, but the basic Linktree is free. And if you click that Linktree link, it'll allow you to put in a bunch of different links. So you could put a link to your actual website. You could put a link to your vendor application. You could put a link to your email newsletter sign up. You could put as many links as you want to in your Linktree. And if they just click that, it pops up a screen that has all of that different information. So you don't have to, choose, do I want to include this or that? You can put it all there, and it's super helpful.
Yeah, it's nice to have those options available, because if you are like running a special or doing a special event at your market or things like that, you can have a link to a direct page on your website that has that information. So even directing them to your website and trying to have them figure out where to go from there, you can kind of eliminate that and say, hey, just go straight here. Or if you're trying to get Yelp reviews for your market, you can say, hey, write us a review on Yelp and have a direct link to your Yelp or some other review site. Yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely. Work that profile. That is your business card. That is the easiest way for people to find you. Remember, too, though, that in addition to being a business card, it's not just a flat ad or a card. It's a relationship on Instagram. So having that basic information on there will get you 1,000 miles down the road. But if you really want to go deeper on Instagram, answer questions.
Yeah.
Be sure that you respond to questions. Ask questions. I'm always surprised when people leave a comment and have a question and a market manager doesn't answer it or a vendor doesn't answer it. They'll have this terrific post that gets a whole lot of responses and then they're not back on there checking and responding to those. Respond to them. At the very least, like them. Ask questions. So find out what people are interested in. Bridget does a lot of those Q&A stories, which is nice, where you post a little box where they can ask a question, but be sure and go back in and answer all of them. That can get a lot of really good response. Yeah. Justine is becoming the master of Reels, which really progresses you on the Instagram algorithm. That'll move you along, get you a lot more exposure. And then comment on other people's social.
Don't be self-absorbed.
That's right.
General rule for life and also for social media.
That's right. It's not just about you.
Think about others, and especially comment on your vendors' posts.
Exactly.
Like, build that relationship. You want to strengthen those bonds between yourself and your farmers and vendors. Comment on the posts of neighboring businesses. We always have like cafes and little restaurants that post around the market, and they're not necessarily posting about the market, but I'll say, oh, that cup of coffee looks so great. I'm going to get that on Saturday at the market. Like, I know what I'm having for dinner after my market day. That's a great plate or whatever. So it's just building those relationships with other people in the neighborhood is really going to help you out.
Yeah, and people are going to see you commenting there when they might be a fan of that cafe, but not of your market. They're going to discover you.
Totally. And sometimes it is a grind to find things to talk about, but luckily, farmers markets, there's so many beautiful things to take photos of. There's endless ideas, and if you need a little, creative burst or an idea. A little while ago, I posted a reel on our Farmers Market Pros Instagram page of a few different prompts that you can use. You can introduce a new vendor. You can ask a regular shopper their favorite things to buy at the market. You can highlight a neighboring business. The options are endless. You can do whatever you want, but consistently posting and engaging with people, it's going to make people realize that they can find out more about the market on your Instagram page, and just utilizing that free resource is so helpful.
For sure. Just posting pictures of produce, which of course are beautiful and people love to look at that, and just posting picture and not really giving any information is not really the best way to utilize this really great resource that's at your disposal. So using those prompts and then also kind of integrating information about what produce is in season or what is new at your market. I mean, there's just a lot of things you can give people on their Instagram. And like you said, it is a free platform. You can pay for advertisements and things, but we don't even need to use that because you can get a lot of engagement. But do remember that, like Kat said in the beginning of the episode, it's free except for your labor time.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. There's a lot of things you can do. You don't want to get out of hand with focusing just on that and not focusing on what's happening at your market and, making sure to pay yourself for what's going on. And
one more thing is, too, I follow a lot of farmers markets from around the country because we're in the farmers market business where we're talking about all different types of farmers markets. But for your individual market, say you're a market manager in Fort Wayne, Indiana, right? You can follow other farmers markets around the country and get ideas from them.
For sure.
That doesn't mean that your farmers market followers are going to see you copying another farmer's market, right?
Yeah.
All of these ideas can be utilized no matter where you are in the country. So if you see Cara May doing something really cool in Napa, she would be happy for you to steal her idea. And maybe you throw her a message or give her a shout out on your social media so you were inspired by her. But those ideas can be used and applied for your individual audiences. Yeah. Feel free to be inspired by other market managers and see what other people are doing across the country. It doesn't have to be a unique idea that only you did.
Yeah, because sometimes your brain is just can't fit another thing in your brain. And even though there is a lot of content at your fingertips, sometimes you just can't think of it. I get content block all the time.
Yeah.
And so looking around at other markets and what they're posting can really kind of get those creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tag each other.
Tag.
That's right. Be sure you're tagging your vendors and farmers and vendors. Please be sure you tag your markets. Mention the markets that you're going to be at. Nobody knows how to find you unless you tell them. Yeah. Share that with them. Don't keep it a secret.
Guess what? It's not a secret. It's not like a hunt for the market. You
want to make it easy.
Yeah. Oh, and one more plug for Tent Talk is if you want more ideas about Instagram or you're confused or you just need some help, we did a really awesome episode a couple weeks back with Kendall Ballantyne. She's amazing. Marketing for farmers. Find her on Instagram. Listen to her episode. Super fun. And then also we did an episode a couple weeks before that with Hannah Fuller from the Farmers Market Coalition. And she runs their like Instagram takeover program that the Farmers Market Coalition does. And she had some really simple tips about what makes a good post, how to come up with ideas, and the Farmers Market Coalition is a great resource on Instagram because they feature so many different markets from all over the country for lots of fun ideas. So you can listen to those 2 episodes of Tent Talk if you need a little bit more Instagram help.
For sure. And the takeover is a great way to get
takeover is so smart.
Yeah, if you have that content block, just give it to someone else. Take over.
Okay, so getting back to email newsletters. Let's talk about that for a minute. Those, if you work them right, can be just a gold mine. You build loyalty. People start looking forward to seeing them. Probably your main key there is consistency.
Yeah.
Try to send them out on the same day of the week. I usually send ours out the day before our big market. We'll be sending them out again the day before our midweek market, if that gets rolling again. But people get used to it. I actually saw a post from somebody on social media last week. I had gotten really busy. We had a family event going on, and somebody said, it was right. Oh, you know when it was? It was right before the July 4th holiday. So I guess this would have been a somewhat reasonable conclusion to jump to. I saw a guy that I know always comments or always responds to our email newsletters, and he posted something on Facebook that said, I think there's not a market tomorrow. They couldn't get enough vendors to show up for the holiday.
I saw that on Instagram, and I was like, how dare you think that? And I responded saying, no, of course not. And that makes sense that he didn't get the newsletter
yet. He didn't get the newsletter because I was busy, and so I frantically went home and knocked out the newsletter so that it would go out really early in the morning on Saturday.
Just
that happens some
People
weeks,
are relying on
They do.
Yeah.
It's really, like, if they don't get the email newsletter, the sun won't
they're
rise.
They're afraid something horrible has happened.
They walk around aimlessly on a Saturday.
They wouldn't know what to do. So if you send out a newsletter consistently for long enough, you will find that people really do rely on it. We have seen people show up with their email newsletters printed out, clutching them, walking through the market, picking up the things that we told them to get
people will come
to
up,
make a recipe.
Just walk right up to the booth and say, so where is that okra? I'm like, what okra are you talking about? They're like, the okra. And then I'm like, oh, I should have read the newsletter last night. Because, you mentioned something in it and they just come up, they want to go directly to that booth and get those things that are in the newsletter. So we have a good following. And that's a good sign of a good, we're telling them, hey, we know a lot about our market. We know some things that'll help you out. People have tried them. They appreciate it. They want to come out and get that feeling. They feel secure. Sometimes people just need to be told what to do.
That's right. Just make it easy for them. Here's your instructions.
People are busy.
This is how you're going to shop this week. You're going to buy 4 bags of strawberries. You're going to buy 1 box of this.
Here's your list.
And you know what? That makes developing content for newsletters really easy.
Yep.
Right.
Because just tell them what you want them to do. You can highlight different vendors. I think just really simply telling people what's in season and what's going to be at the market
Huge.
Is so helpful, because if somebody reads that on a Thursday night and they're like, oh, stone fruit's in season?
Yeah.
Okay. Time for me to go to the market because I want to get my peaches or nectarines.
Right. Yeah.
And, Kat does a really advanced kind of higher level, you always tell a little story or you have all these puns and there's a narrative flow to the newsletter, which I appreciate, but it doesn't have to be that complicated.
It doesn't, it can be short.
She goes a little wild with it, as we know that she does with most of the things that she does, but it can be really simple to say, hey, we have a new vendor this week, or, it's a farmer's birthday, highlighting something really simple, or you can make a one food pun, just short and sweet, and let people know what they can expect when they come out.
Yeah,
I think a pretty picture and consistency are pretty much your key. You don't have to go that deep. And pull up a blog and link a recipe, that's gigantic.
Yeah.
But if you just say hi once a week, you will get people out. Say hi and tell them to come down and see you.
Don't use stock photos unless you own them.
That's oh my gosh, huge pro tip. Do not do not pick up other people's photos and use them without
permission. Even if it's in your email newsletter that you think maybe no one's looking at, someone is.
Someone is
who wants to tell you not to use their stock photo.
Getty images to be exact. But so that's a pro tip. That'll be in that marketing class, because that's things to watch out for.
Things that you
sound minor, but really aren't.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. But when we had 4 markets every single week, I would get content block like I wouldn't believe with the email newsletters. And sometimes I just put my personal family's shopping list and turn it into a little blurb.
Oh,
this is what I'm shopping for this week. My kids love these carrots. They're so crunchy and they're purple. They think they're funny. Dip them in this hummus. It's my husband's favorite. They want that personal story. And then people would literally come and be like, hey, I got the carrots in the hummus that you said. I'm like, great. We can both enjoy them. So it's it doesn't have to be complicated.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
Just tell them what to eat. They want someone.
People
are busy. Tell them what to do.
Yep. So I was having a conversation with a relatively new market manager, and when I brought up that email newsletters should be part of their program, they said, so I don't have email newsletter names yet. Our market's only been open for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Yeah.
So you know what? You can get email newsletter names. So first of all, obviously, you want to put a sign-up button everywhere a sign-up button could possibly be.
Yeah. On your
website, on your Instagram.
That's right. So wherever you go, you should find it. It should be on your Instagram profile. It should be on your website. It should be... Where else can you put those? Other people's newsletters.
Yeah.
So talk to your vendors. If you've got a vendor that has a newsletter, ask them if they would include a link to your sign up. Talk to neighboring businesses that might be enjoying the extra traffic flow from your market and say, hey, would you mind sticking this? They're looking for content too. In their email newsletters. So
help someone else out.
That's right. Ask them to send it.
Yeah.
And that can be really effective way to build your own email list is get your sponsors, get your neighbors, get your local community organizations if you make it easy for them, they'll do it. So you write the little blurb about the local farmers market. You include a link in there that goes back to your email sign-up form, and you give it to everybody you can possibly give it to, because they're probably sitting there trying to figure out what to put in their email newsletter this week. And if you make it simple, and especially if you give them a pretty picture of produce or a market to go with it, you will be amazed how many people will build your list for you.
Yeah.
So that's the way to get it started. It's really not that hard.
And everyone starts small. Everyone with a huge list started with nothing. So just start. Just do it. Even if it's frustrating to not get that many signups at first, just keep doing it. Write that newsletter for those 5 people.
Yeah.
That's how you start.
Exactly.
That's how you build it.
Because they forward it to other people.
Yeah.
And you know what? The time-honored sign-up sheet on a clipboard at your info booth or at every other vendor's booth, you will be amazed how many names you can collect that way.
I was just going to say, as a vendor, I had just a clipboard at our farmers market booth to say, hey, you want to find some, you want to get some recipes each week, you want to learn more about our new flavors or what we're doing, just sign up for our email newsletter. They just write their name and their email on our clipboard, and then once a week, I would just put them all into my MailChimp account, put a new piece of paper on the clipboard, and we built our email list to almost 1,000 people just by doing it that way.
Yeah.
And one really simple thing, if you want to get a little bit more savvy or make it a little bit easier for people on their mobile devices, get a printout of a QR code that they can scan with their phone, and it will just take them right to a landing page.
Yep.
Yeah. So many easy ways to collect names.
Yeah.
And again, you own those names, so it doesn't matter. Nobody can adjust that algorithm and make it so that your email newsletter can't get to people.
Yeah.
If you're consistent about sending it out and they start looking for it, it's amazing how effective that is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then there's the old analog standbys.
The old way that my husband figures out where to go. Posters and flyers.
I mean, don't forget that stuff. It seems silly, but that's still really effective. There's really inexpensive ways to print it, whether you go to your local printer, which, of course, we want to advocate for using local businesses.
Yeah.
But I hate to say it, but you can also go online to nextdayflyers.com, and you will have really inexpensive flyers shipped to you really quickly.
Yeah, but explore your local options. Someone might want to work with you. Maybe a local printer wants to have like a little ad in the corner of your flyer, and they'll print your stuff for free. I mean, that's a good way to just have a no cost or a super low cost way to print is to like joint advertise on there.
We did door hangers for one market a few years back, and on one side of the door hanger was everything about the market, and then on the other side of the door hanger, half of it was about the market, and half of it was about a local realtor, and that realtor paid for all of the door hanger printing and distribution. It was amazing.
And we did a T-Mobile one time. There was a new T-Mobile shop in the neighborhood, and they got a little, it was like a breakaway card on the bottom of the door hanger. Same thing. They handled all, the printing and distributing, and also paid us or something. It was like we came out on top.
Wow, that's mini sponsorship.
Awesome.
Yeah. So door hangers, posters, flyers, all those things are old school, but there's a reason they're still around.
Yeah,
they
or
do still work.
The banners on light poles and stuff like that. When people, especially for our market in a very touristy area, people are driving around looking, being like, "Where should I go on vacation?"
What do I do?
And neighborhoods are probably. If you're in a neighborhood, there's probably neighborhood groups, a business organization, a planning committee, something like that. That would. Farmers markets are fun, interesting, community building things to talk about.
People like to boast about having a market in their neighborhood.
They love that. Yeah. So give them that information and work with them wherever they can get your name plastered around everywhere. Just be game for that.
The more times it's out there, the more impressions people have of that information, the more likely it is that they'll see you.
It's never too much.
You could even do merch, wearing a T-shirt that says Farmers Market.
Follow me to the
when
farmers
your
market
is on your T-shirt.
That's right,
exactly.
Or on your tote bag, or on your coffee mug, or whatever.
And then give those out at fun events. So sponsoring or tabling at local community events can be really, really effective. So if your local elementary school has a festival, get that table out there or be a sponsor. If your neighborhood has a Little League team, those banners that hang on those fences, those parents are standing there staring at those for hours while those kids are practicing and playing.
Staring out there, endlessly staring. I have memorized all those businesses on the banners, actually. I can tell you it works. That's where I go for
amazing.
dinner. Yeah.
So those kind of analog things work. We have found that if you're in a neighborhood where you've got an elementary school near you, stickers for the elementary school kids are amazing. So if you can talk to a principal or talk to a teacher and get a chance to get into the school, maybe with a coloring sheet for the kids and some stickers to send home with them. We know anybody that's had kids or been around small children, they tell their parents where to go. So if you can get the kids excited about your market,
they're the boss.
Right, they will nag their parents endlessly until they arrive at your market. So that can be very effective.
And they love a sticker no matter what it says.
They do love a sticker, and
even if they can't read it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Precisely.
Oh, for sure. Just put a cute, put a carrot on there with a face on it, or a sheep, or put a little cow and say, move it to the market. So there's all kinds of things you can do with little kids. And now that I'm thinking about this, it doesn't just have to be elementary schools. Nowadays, all those high school and college kids want stickers to put on their hydro flasks.
That's true. All the Visco girls.
Yeah, there's a whole new age limit that will be responsive to stickers now.
That's right. Great. And I feel like those millennials, or whatever they're called, Zillennial, I don't know what generation we're in right now. Gen Z. They are into a local food and circling back around to shopping local is cool. So give them that stuff. They'll be glad to advertise for you.
Yeah.
So it's cool to say that you shop at the farmers market. So get those kids involved. Like, just don't forget about certain demographics. I think we're like, oh, I made an Instagram post. Like, we did it. We marketed.
Yeah.
We're done our market. It's like, well, you need to go to all these different avenues because, like it or not, people are just getting their information from a trillion different sources, and you can't reach everybody with one thing. So
find people where they live.
That's right.
And they live in all kinds of different places.
Meet them where they are.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was just a really quick thumbnail sketch of what's going to be in our really awesome Marketing for Farmers Markets.
I'm excited to see that class.
Will be out soon.
Yeah.
So if you want more ideas, or if you're somebody that is kind of starting to implement this stuff but wants some deep dives, we're going to be getting into like how to update your Google business or how to claim your Yelp page and all that stuff that Bridget over the last almost 15 years has been doing an amazing job of. It's like so simple. It might seem intimidating at first, but once you know how to reach those people, it comes so much in handy. So
and it's easy to just do maintenance on it once it's done. So
so if you're not part of our email newsletter, you can sign up for that on our website. Right. And if you don't already follow us on Instagram, it's just at Farmers Market Pros. We post updates on there all the time, and we'll be letting you know when that new course is out.
Yeah. Coming up soon.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks for listening today. Want a chance to join us on Tent Talk Live at Intense, the Farmers Market Conference? See how this is done? Register for the conference now and get ready to learn and grow. We'll see you March 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2022 in San Diego, California. Reserve your early bird tickets today at farmersmarketpros.com.
We can't wait to see you. Farmers markets are all about connection, and all of us, operators, farmers, and vendors, keep learning. Join us at the 6th Annual Intense the Farmers Market Conference in San Diego, California on March 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2022 to grow your market and your community. Connect over in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros community, with active farmers market managers and participants. You can also message us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros or email us at connect@farmersmarketpros.com. To further your farmers market education, check out our online courses at farmersmarketpros.com. Thanks so much for listening to Tent Talk. Please leave us a review wherever you access your podcasts, and be sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Tent Talk, the Farmers Market Podcast, is proudly produced by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was recorded and edited by Justine Marzoni-Mead. Original music by David Mead. Thank you so much for listening today, and we'll have another great episode next week. Tune in.